Jake wakes up to the unfamiliar feeling of a cheek on his chest and a fly stung over his stomach. Not that waking up to limbs entwined with some fleeting delight was an unfamiliar sensation by any means, but this time something seems off. He's afraid to open his eyes because he can't remember the last few days. The very last thing he does remember, if any of his recollections are to be trusted, is corking open a bottle of alchemized Merlot at 9 in the morning, as one does, and then doing a brisk section of target practice, which was interrupted by... oh fuck. Jake's eyes snap open. His ceiling looks the same as it always does, if a bit tizzy with the ice-whizzing headache sending nails of pain through his skull. The gold fleck flowers carved into his wood-panelled ceiling glitter in the morning light. Jake stares very hard at them because he doesn't want to look down and confirm his worst fears. But his worst fears are confirmed for him without having to do anything, unfortunately, which seems par for the course. Good morning. Jane sits up in the bed and stretches her arms over her head. Her body is a perfect hourglass in naked profile. Jake's eyes trace the curve of her spine against his will. They linger in the dip above her hips. Her hair is tousled and she's not wearing her glasses. Jake actually has to catch his breath at the sight of her. It's not her attractiveness that was ever in question. It's everything else about the situation which is the problem. Jane, what in the blazes happened? She turns to face him, giggling into her hand. Why, Jake, I would imagine that you are practicing enough at sexual congress at this point that I shouldn't have to explain it to you. Jane, I am quite aware of my reputation, but I'm not some loose strumpet who enters into relations thoughtlessly. Oh, lighten up. Jane blinks and touches her hand to her collarbone like she doesn't quite recognize herself. Oh dear, did you hear what I just said? Lighten up. It's been quite a while since I've thought that way. My, it feels freeing to say. Lighten up, Jake. The elections are. The economy is stable. Dirk is probably never going to talk to us ever again. And we finally fucked. Hoo hoo hoo. Did we indeed fuck? Was it merely playing honky tonky with our digits, or did we do the old camahooch? Or even worse, the beard splitting? I don't know what all that means, Jake. I don't know what any of that means, but Jake, we definitely did it all. She crawls towards him with a goofy smile, paddling along unsteady because she can't see shit without her spectacles. Jake shoots up in bed and scuttles all the way back until his shoulders hit the frame. Something catches the corner of his eye, and he swivels his head around to see the tricked lollipop on his bedside table. It sits like evidence at a murder scene, but beneath an empty bottle of vodka and far more sets of underwear than the number of people accounted for in the room. Jake says, but Jane shuts him up with a finger over his lips. She slides into his lap and settles her bottom into the space between his thighs. There's a blanket between the lurid parts of their naked bodies, but Jake cannot rightly move unless he wishes to be dearly compromised. He stutters through several objections, but Jane is plucking all his strings quite mercilessly. He feels like a snake about to be next by a mongoose. What's the meaning with the lollipop? I thought we agreed never to use tricks mode when we were, unsupervised. What? The lollipop was your idea. I must protest, Jane. That doesn't seem like something that I would agree to in a right state of mind. Well, I'm not sure either of us are exactly in the right state of mind, to be honest. We, had quite a bit to drink over the course of the day, and one thing led to another. Let's partaking in scandalous confections? I don't know what to tell you, Jake. I'm not pulling your leg. In fact, you were the one doing the vigorous leg pulling last night. Criminy. Jane's expression falls. She'd been feeling quite buoyed after a night of jolly, if inebriated fun, but Jake doesn't seem to share her enthusiasm. Dear me, was that innuendo a bit too much? I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this. No, it's not that, Jane. All this feels wrong. No, now I don't want you to get the wrong idea here. You're a dear friend and I care for you deeply, but I think that what happened between us might have merely been a result of profound inebriation. Jake regrets the statement as soon as the words leave his mouth. Jane looks absolutely crushed, devastated, like Jake just ripped the rug out from underneath her entire universe. What? Are you saying everything we did, it meant nothing to you? That isn't what I meant, Jane. Jane stares up at him, her eyes so bright they're practically clear like tropical water on a sunny day. She looks like girls do right before they're about to cry. Jake. Oh, how could he deny her anything? What was I even saying? I'm being terribly foolish. Sure, we might have overdone it a bit in the suddens perhaps, but you know what? To hell with it. I might remember everything that happened last night, but I'm sure my passions wouldn't lead me astray. You've always been a lovely girl, Jane, and you've become an even lovelier woman. Why, it's a surprise this didn't happen sooner. May as well, just go with it. It's not the most rousing speech Jake has ever given, but it seems satisfactory enough for Jane. He releases a tremendously relieved sigh when Jane breaks into a smile. Oh, Jake. He flails when she kisses him, but this time there's no doubt he hasn't said no. Dave and Dirk don't talk that much about the heavy stuff. They don't need to. Dave can hear his brother's voice in his head. Not like literally, that would be insane, but Dave knows what his bro is like. Dirk, or a version of him, instilled in Dave a way of living and thinking that would, for better or worse, persist far beyond the first 13 years of his upbringing. And even on Earthsea, it'd be kind of tough to say the dude's general overbearing demeanour wasn't sufficient to perpetuate the conditioning, so it's rare he has to guess what Dirk would say he should do. When it comes to the boondoggle involved with triangulating his interpersonal relationships with Jade and Carcat, Dave is shooting blanks. He has no idea what to do, no idea what to say, and for once, the ghost in his head doesn't either. Once he might have expected the end of the hauntings to come as a relief, but now that he finally sits quietly in his own mind with nothing but his meagre faculties to guide his hand, the silence is deafening. There's no time to waste, so he flies directly to his bro's studio. He needs this. He needs his bro to tell him what to do. Whatever issues the guy might have, Dave has always been to count on Dirk to give him, as Jake might say, the solid dick. Dave knocks on the door, loud, there's no answer. Nothing when he calls out Dirk's name either. Then he tries a knob and the door swings right open. Hey, bro, are you there? Still no answer. Dave lets himself in. It's not like his bro would actually mind. They're family after all. Bro, hey. Silence throughout the studio. Dave starts flitting from room to room, checking for any signs of Dirk. This is strange. The guy doesn't usually go out to do things unless those things are actually being televised. Dude, are you like gone? I have something I really need to talk to you, but Dave all but jumps out of his skin with a shriek when he turns to find the last individual he would in the world he ever expected to want to see. Honk. Jesus fuck. Hey, what's shaking, my man? Gamzee, what the fuck? God, I think I shit my pants. I'm sorry to hear that, my fine brother. Gamzee, what the fuck are you doing here? Did you follow me here? No, man, I've been waiting for you. Honk. Oh, that's so much better. Why the fuck are you doing that? Because I'm here to bring you the good news. News of what? The news of me, my motherfucker. I'm here to help you all get up and redeem from your wicked sins. Put you on a real arc of salvation, honk. Oh my fucking god, what fucking sins? Where's Dirk? There's no need to worry about him. You're gonna get what's best for you. He told me that, and I'm gonna make sure his wish makes like a motherfucking miracle and gets true, honk. Did I just walk into a horror movie? Did my bro get fucking axe murdered by a clown? Jesus Christ. Don't tell me his body is down in the basement right now. You don't got any needs to go and concern yourself with his mortal flesh body out here in his candy cane whirlpool beyond the infinite blank wink of the wicked singularity, my ninja. A sack of meat and bones in one life for the next is only a means to the final totality that will damn and raise us all in the brilliant apotheosis. In the one true life we all flow from the one true head, and every head rolls down the path of the one true hand. What the fuck does any of that mean? Are you drunk? Never mind, I don't give a shit. As for my way, Pagliacci. Dave has had enough of this buffoon. He pushes Gamzee aside and the clown goes absolutely flying into one of Dirk's messy workbenches. The vagrant gesture ricochets off disorganized piles of scrap metal and anime paraphernalia, like a Tony Hawk jackass clipping and flopping into an unending oblivion of pain. The circus ruckus starts a vicious Rube Goldberg machine of cartoon physics, knocking every Cinderbot, Krusty Puppet, and Japanese sword in a tornado's radius off balance and avalanching them catastrophically onto the hapless clown's torso. Dave gives only a second glance to the ludicrous pandemonium. He blows open the door to the stairwell and heads down, bracing himself for the worst. But he doesn't find Dirk in the basement either. The only thing of note is a slumped figure in the center of the storage room, covered in a thin sheet. Dave approaches and rips it off to discover, wait, what's this? It's obviously a robot, but it's a complete mess. The form is feminine, but the head is still bald, and the face has no color, revealing its skull-like interior. The body doesn't have any proper protective placing yet, so it's all a mess of wires and loose mechanical bits. Clearly a work in progress. But Dave can't help but wonder what exactly it is that Dirk's been working on here. Then Dave notices a note. It's carefully folded in the limp palm of the robot's hand. His heart jumps into his throat and something in his stomach drops. Oh no. Your name is Dirk Strider, and you know what we must do. The decision was made the moment John chose the course. The road has been set in the path that you cannot tread. You stand beneath the carapacian bell tower, poised to climb to the top. You brought nothing with you but a long length of rope, coiled in your steady fist. This is the only thing that you need. Ascend. You do not hesitate. Your legs feel impressively powerful as you begin to climb the staircase, 2 steps at a time. There is nothing of consequence but your singular task. You left a note, but you don't expect any of your friends to understand. It's not important that they do. A flip of the cosmic coin has rendered your entire life completely inessential. What could you accomplish in a dead-end existence like this? There are no stakes, no meaningful challenges, no structures or themes, only residual chemical reactions in a dying brain, a physical system's obligate compulsion to exhaust its own lingering momentum, a cockroach with its head cut off, waiting to die of thirst. Halfway up the tower, you take flight. Every second you waste here is a drain on the concept of existence itself. You whip up the hollow vertical shaft at the center of the spiraling stairs and erupts into the air beneath the bell. You land on the ledge overlooking the Carapace kingdom below and cast a cursory glance across the landscape beneath you. Its beautiful scenery is a comic illusion of no matter to you. Get to work. Your hands move methodically to fashion the hangsman's noose. It suggests you practice well. You bunch a section of the rope into an S and loop the end of the rope around its middle. 7 wraps and you're done. You tie it off at the bottom and tug the rope taut. The corrosion has already begun. You can feel the gears slowing, all the intricate, unseen mechanisms coming unhinged from their mooring and drifting apart. Your other friends might derive some sense of fulfillment from satisfying the elementary obligations of self-preservation and self-propagation. There's nothing here for you. It doesn't matter anymore. There is a beam across the opening of the face of the bell tower that will serve as a convenient anchor for the rope. You toss the noose up over the beam and then rise to fasten the knot. You ensure that this is secure. There can be no mistakes. You touch back down on the ledge of the tower. You bring the noose over your head and pull it tight. Your choice is not between that of life and death. It is between an ignominious dissolution at the hands of entropy and one final act of relevance that can bequeath your meager energies to the cosmic world from whence they came. In a certain sense, you've never felt so free. Kill yourself. You jump. A meaningful death would, of course, be quick, brutal, an expeditious ascent, a splash of crimson at the base of the bell tower. A body looks otherwise intact if you don't flip it over to see the dark, mottled bruises where the fetid septic blood has begun to pool. You made certain the rope was long enough for velocity of the fuel to immediately decapitate you. It slices through the air with a vicious whipping sound, unspooling in even, silk-smooth rotations. Just as your epiphany occurred at sunset, your death must occur at sunrise, to complete the Ouroboros of symbolical harmonic resonance that is your personal arc. It is the very last moment of narratively consequential action that will happen in this whole barren world. The few Carapacians unfortunate enough to have left their homes this early in the morning will remember this moment forever, but in reality it lasts only half a second. The noise your cervical spine makes in its thunders is indescribably gruesome. Many of the bystanders who witnessed your death will later attempt to recount it. There are really no words that can adequately express the sound someone makes when they die. It's a phenomenon that happens on 2 levels. First, there is a literal termination of organic processes, which is to say the destruction of the meat. Then follows the dissolution of the ego. And you have quite the ego to dissolve one that's flown so high over the forest that not only can it no longer see the trees, it cannot even conceive the trees as material substance with objects of meaning. Yours is a singularity of narcissism, an empty recursive existence so dense that it has no choice but to sprawl out much further than the boundaries of its person in any given universe or timeline. Once cut off from that, you become unbearably dispensable. From a purely utilitarian perspective, killing yourself is the greatest gift you could give to the sign world. A valorous sacrifice the likes of which this place will never experience again. If your severed head could speak, it might say, "You're welcome." But even then, maybe it wouldn't. It might not care enough to do this shallow world even that basic courtesy. We may never know. Your severed head remains suspended in a loop of noose, tight under your jaw, while your limp body bounces off the side from the bell tower and tumbles to the grass. Screams sound from below. The horrified Carapacian bystanders scatter and run. Your body tumbles down the side of the hill, spraying blood from its neck in a volume that makes the foot of the tower look like a scene of a massacre. Your heart keeps beating more after you're dead. It keeps beating until every drop of blood is forced from your corpse, a sea of gore drenching the earth beneath the scene of your demise. Your body doesn't get up when your head doesn't open its eyes. When you think so little of yourself as a moral character, any act of self-termination will result in a death that is just.